A rainy afternoon to everyone. Today I will teach you how to do the computation on forecasting a revenue. So let's take this example. Okay, kikita nyo ba? Wait lang. ABC Company had 150,000 sales for the year 2019 and earned 200,000 sales for the year 2020. The question is, forecast the revenue for 2020. So, how to do that? First step is to find the sales growth rate. Tama ba yan? Growth rate. Ano ang formula ng sales growth rate? So, present year sale. Ano ba ang present year? Present is the 2020. So, ito ang kukunin nyo. Present year sales less last year sales. Okay, so i-divide mo yan sa present year sale. Yung makukuha mo is the rate. Okay, so what is the present year sale? The present year sale is 200,000. So, minus 150,000 divided by 200,000. The answer is 200,000 less 100,000 divided by 25%. So, 25% ang growth rate mo. The second step is to compute the forecasted revenue by using this formula. Present year sale multiply by 1 point growth rate. Okay? So, our sales growth rate. So, 200,000 times 1.25 is equals to 200,000 times 1.25 is 250K. Okay. Is this your final answer? No, kasi this is for the year 2021. The question is for 2022. So, ano ang magiging sagot? Bumalik kayo sa process, no? First is to identify the sales growth rate pa rin. So, your present year sales, hindi na siya 200,000. Assuming nasa 2021 na tayo, so ang magiging present year sales mo na doon is the 250,000. So, ganito yan. 250,000 less last year 2020, ito 200K. 200K divided by 250,000. Divided by 250,000. So, 20%. For the year 2021, ang magiging sales growth rate niya na is 20%. Now, this is the time for you to compute for the forecasted revenue for 2021 using the formula ito. Yan. So, the present year sales would be 250,000 times 1. Okay? 1.20. Your answer would be 250,000 times 1.20 is equals to 300,000. This will be your forecasted revenue for the year 2022. Okay, next sa cost naman tayo. ABC Company incurred the following fixed overhead expenses for the month of January. Rent of 3,000, depreciation of 1,000, insurance of 2,000, salaries of 3,000, advertising for 2,000, a total of 11,000 fixed overhead expenses. Question: compute for his expenses for February, March, and April. Assuming that ABC Company is being affected by the pandemic at the month of March. So, let's be careful sa binibigay na information ng questions, ano? Ito. Fixed overhead expenses. Mapapansin nyo na kahit anong mangyari, magkaroon man ng bagyo, tutuloy pa rin siyang magbabayad ng rent. Magkaroon man ng brownout or ng pandemic, magde-depreciate pa rin yung mga assets niya. Magbabayad pa rin siya sa insurance, magbabayad pa rin ng salaries, and tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang advertising. Promotional tool kasi niya yun. So, kahit nagkaroon ng pandemic, hindi naman sinabi sa question na tumigil magtrabaho ang mga employees. So, affected man sa pandemic, yung business, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang operation. So, the answer would be 11,000 for the month of January. Dahil fix yan, ibig sabihin hindi magbabago gaano man kadami ang mabenta niya or gaano man kakonti ang mabenta niya kasi fix yung mga yan. Magbabayad pa rin siya niyan despite and in spite of sales volume. So, the answer would be 11,000 times 3. Bakit 3? Dahil for the month of February, March, hindi April. So, 11,000 times 3 is equal to ilan? 11,000 times 11,000 times 3 is equal to 33,000. Okay. So, ito ang magiging ito ang magiging fixed overhead expenses ni ABC Company for the month of February, March, and April. Okay, now we will compute for profits. Okay, so illustration is this. Gushan had sales of 100,000 from its 2019 operation. His expenses totaled 70,000 pesos, including the salaries and administrative expenses of 20,000. The tax expense is 15% of his total sales. First question, compute for his gross profit. So remember that when computing gross profit, the formula is sales less cost of goods sold. That is your gross profit. Now, cost of goods sold is variable expenses. So, these salaries and administrative expenses are fixed expenses. So, ibig sabihin, itong 20,000 nakasama sa 70,000, hindi na din siya isasama sa pag-compute ng gross profit. So, ano ang sales niya for the year 2019? The sales is 100,000. Cost of goods sold is 50,000. Like what I said, cost of goods sold are variable expenses. Since salaries and administrative expenses are fixed expenses, so ide-deduct natin yun sa 70,000. Kaya 50,000 lang ang kukunin natin. So, i-less natin yan. 100,000 less 50,000 is 50,000 pesos. That is Gushan's gross profit. Next question. Compute for his operating profit. Operating profit is also known as net profit before tax. So, what is the formula of operating profit? Ganito yan. Sales less cost of goods sold equals gross profit less, yun na, ilales mo na yung salaries and administrative expenses. Salaries and administrative expenses. Kasi, ang pag-compute ng operating profit is sales less variable expenses and fixed expenses. That's your operating profit. So what's your sale? What is Gushon's sale? Ayan, 100,000. What is Gushon's cost of goods sold? So 70,000 less 20,000 is 50,000. You will get the gross profit of 50,000. Sales and administrative salaries and administrative expenses is 20,000. Ileless mo yon. You will arrive to 30,000 operating profit. That is Gushon's operating profit for 2019. Okay, question 3 naman is compute for net profit of Gushon. Net profit, ibig sabihin nito, deducting all the expenses, including the cost of goods sold, including the salaries and administrative, including tax. So, another term for that is net profit after tax. So, anong formula nun? Sales less cost of goods sold, that's your variable expenses, you will arrive at gross profit. You will deduct again the salaries and administrative expenses and you will arrive at your operating profit. Now, you will deduct the tax expense, okay? And you will arrive to net income or net income after tax or net profit. Net profit na lang. Net profit. Okay, so your sales is 100,000. Your cost of goods sold is 50,000. Less mo yan, you will arrive at 50,000. Your salaries and administrative expenses is 20,000. So, 50,000 less 20,000 is 30,000 operating profit. So, ano daw ba yung tax expense? Balikan natin yung question, okay? The tax expense is 15% of his total sales. What is his total sales? 100,000. So, the tax expense is 15% daw. 15%. So, you will solve that. 100,000 times 15% is 15,000. So, the tax expense of Gushon for 2019 is 15,000. So, from the operating profit of 30,000 pesos, ide-deduct mo pa yung 15,000. The answer is 15,000 pesos. That is your net profit or net income after tax. Okay. Kanina, puro profit yung na-compute natin. Now, let's look at this point. During the year 2020, Gushon's expenses exceeded his sales due to a pandemic. His cost of sales doubled, but the sales remained constant. Tax expense also remained the same. First question, compute for his gross profit. So, yung sales daw ni Gushon, ganun pa rin. So, kung mababalikan natin to, ang sales ni Gushon is 100,000. Ang cost of sales niya or cost of goods sold is 50,000. By the year 2020, it doubled due to a pandemic. So, ibig sabihin nito, nag-produce sila ng maraming products, pero by 2020, walang naidagdag sa sales nila, ganun pa rin. So, yung pinados nilang product, hindi na benta. So, since silent ang problem sa fixed expenses, i-assume natin hindi siya nagbago dahil fixed naman siya, okay? And the tax remained the same daw. So, let's compute for Gushon's gross profit for the year 2020. Okay. So, sales remained constant. The sales is 100,000 pa rin, di ba? Tapos, kung maaalala nyo, yung cost of sales daw ni Gushon dumoble. Ano ba yung cost of sales ni Gushon by the year 2019? It's 50,000. So, ita times 2 lang natin yun. 100,000 times 50,000 times 2 is equal to 100,000. So, the cost of goods sold of Gushan for the year 2020 is 100,000. Therefore, the gross profit is 0. Okay? Question number 2. Compute for his operating profit naman. So, operating profit, the formula is sales less cost of goods sold. You will arrive at gross profit less salaries and administrative expenses. The answer would be your operating profit. So, the sales stayed the same. So, 100,000 minus cost of goods sold, na doble na daw, kaya 100,000. Zero gross profit. Ngayon, meron pa rin siyang nai-incur na fixed expenses dahil kahit, gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, kahit anong mangyari, andun pa rin yun. So, the salaries and administrative expenses is 20, sorry about the light, my phone is about to die, 20,000. So, your operating profit or loss, dahil loss na siya, 20,000. Loss na siya by the year 2020. Okay? Hindi na siya profit. So, kung loss, use this symbol. Okay? Yan. Loss na siya by the year 2020. Okay, now, third, we will compute for Gushan's net profit or loss for the year 2020. So, the formula for net profit or loss is first sales less cost of goods sold. You will arrive at your gross profit less salaries and administrative expenses. You will arrive to your operating profit. Gross profit pala to, gross profit or loss, operating profit or loss, and then less tax expense, and then you will arrive at your net profit after tax or loss. Okay, so for the year 2020, the sales is still 100,000. Cost of sales doubled, so it became 100,000 as well. Deduct that, you will arrive at 0 gross profit. Salaries and administrative expenses is still 20,000. Loss. Operating profit is loss of 20,000. Tax expense is still 15% of total sales. So, as computed a while ago, the 15% of sales of 100,000 is 15,000. Less deduct pa rin yan. So, you will arrive at his net profit or loss of 35,000 net loss. Okay? By the year 2020, dahil naapektuhan ang sales ni Gushan, nag-produce sila ng maraming product but the sales remained the same. So, nagkaroon siya ng net profit loss, net loss after tax of 35,000 pesos. Okay, last but not the least is the computation for gross profit margin. Okay, so ang transaction pa rin natin is ito. Gushan had sales of 100,000 from its 2019 operation. His expenses totaled to 70,000 pesos, including the salaries and administrative expenses of 20,000. The tax expense is 15% of his total sales. We will compute the gross profit margin. So the formula for gross profit margin is gross profit divided by net sales. Multiply the answer to 100. Assuming the 100,000 is his net sales, okay? So, as computed a while ago, gross profit is 50,000 pesos. So, gross profit is 50,000 pesos divided by net sales of 100,000. Multiply the answer to 100 and we computed 50%. Paano po nangyari yon? Ganito lang yan. 50,000 divided by 100,000 multiply by 100. So 50. 50%. Number 2, we will compute for the operating profit margin. Ano pong formula ng operating profit margin? Ang formula ng operating profit margin is revenue less cost of goods sold less salaries and administrative expenses. Okay? So, ang makukuha niyong sagot dyan, ang makukuha niyo pong sagot dyan, i-multiply niyo po siya sa revenue. And then, ang makukuha niyo po ulit na sagot dyan, i-multiply natin ng 100. Okay? The revenue is the sales. The net sales. Okay? So, 100,000. Ayan. 100,000 minus 50,000 cost of goods sold minus 20,000 salaries and administrative expenses. Okay? Divided by 100,000. Your answer would be multiplied by 100. Okay? So, i-compute natin. 100,000 less 50,000 less 20,000 is 30,000. Divided by 100,000. Multiply the answer to 100. So, pwede na tayong mag-direct, no? So, 30,000 divided by 100,000, multiply the answer to 100. So, the operating profit margin is 30%. Okay? Tandaan na ang profit margin is always percentage. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng maging whole number. Percentage siya. Third, last is the net profit margin. Ano po ang formula ng net profit margin? Simple lang. Net profit divided by total revenue. Okay? Times 100. So, 15,000, okay. Net profit natin, na-compute natin ang net profit kanina. Ito, 15,000, diba? So, 15,000 divided by total revenue is the 100K. Multiply the answer to 100. You will arrive at 15,000 divided by 100,000 multiplied by 100 is 15. Your net profit margin is 15%. At yun na ang huli ng ating presentation. Sana naintindihan nyo. Kung meron man kayong hindi naintindihan, i-PM nyo lang ako anytime or mag-comment kayo sa GC para mabasa rin ng iba. Kung may magtatanong bakit ganun ako mag-present, pasensya na kayo kasi hindi lahat ABM student or accounting student, no? So, as much as possible, sinubukan kong simplehan para lahat maintindihan nila. Yun lang. Thank you. Habol pa pala, pwede rin kayong mag-subscribe sa YouTube channel ko and click the notification bell for more updates. Bye!